Yeah, it's pretty good. Giving kudos to Gavin Newsom's social team. But millions of people came out for the No Kings protests across the country, the same cannot be said for Donald Trump's big military/birthday parade. There's been a lot of reaction to the parade. We're gonna get into more of it, but Cenk, TYT covered the entirety of the parade, and you just read some comments from our members, some mixed thoughts there. What are your thoughts now that you've watched the whole thing and seen the outcome of the protests? What's your take on the parade?
Hated it. Just the visual of all these tanks and military equipment in the streets of Washington, D.C. made me way more uncomfortable than I thought. I was never for it. I always thought it was a waste of money. We'll tell you how much money in a minute. And I want to tell you about who sponsored it, because now corporations run everything, including the military, the government, every part of it, right? And we had guests on that explained how corporations run our government and our military now. So I'll get back into that in a second. But Jordan, just the very visual bothered me way more than even I thought I would be bothered, especially as we're going to war in Iran, helping Israel with their nonsense war there, and especially as they're using actual military in the streets of LA. So, and I think that politically it plays very poorly for them.
Yeah, well, let's get into some of the details. The US Army celebrated its 250th birthday, or anniversary rather, which coincided with Trump's 79th birthday on Saturday. And now this parade featured dozens of soldiers, armored vehicles, etc., lots of weapons. This parade has been a bucket list item for Trump for years. Trump wanted to hold the parade during his first term, but it was scrapped because it was deemed too expensive. He was inspired after attending the annual Bastille Day parade in France in 2017. That parade celebrates French mobs taking over the Bastille State Prison in 1789. And it didn't get the reaction that Trump wanted, but the event was applauded by MAGA and some who served in the military. The last time we've had a parade of any sorts I recall is the Gulf War. So it's been a long time, and what better way to celebrate it than the 250th? And also Democratic Senator John Fetterman, who tweeted, "This parade is comprised of our sons, daughters, mothers, and fathers, the very best of us. Regardless of your politics, it's appropriate to celebrate the 250 years of sacrifice, dedication, and service." But the criticisms outweighed the praise for the event, especially from Democrats, who called the parade wasteful and selfish. To use the military in this manner when Donald Trump is slashing veterans' benefits to aggrandize himself, to communicate to the country his control over the military, is just another shameful act of this administration. That's from Senator Adam Schiff, certainly no friend to Donald Trump. But the criticism wasn't limited to one party. Senator Rand Paul condemned the parade during an appearance on Meet the Press yesterday, comparing it to the Soviet Union and North Korea. Take a look.
You expressed some doubts ahead of the parade. President Trump says the parade was to showcase the Army's military might, even to inspire a new generation to sign up for military service. Senator, what do you say about that argument? Could the parade have that benefit of encouraging people to sign up and enlist?
You know, I'm all for the president appearing and doing enlistment ceremonies at military bases. I've been with the president at Dover to receive home our dead soldiers, and so those who have been killed in action, and to mourn their loss. But I just never liked the idea of the parade, because I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and the only parades I can remember are Soviet parades for the most part, or North Korean parades. And the parades I remember from our history were different. You know, everybody remembers that famous scene of the soldier, you know, dipping the girl and kissing the girl in New York in a ticker tape parade. But we were rejoicing the end of war, and we were rejoicing our soldiers coming home.
Cenk, I'm curious. So there's some concerns about the cost, but you mentioned there are some sponsorships you want to share with the audience.
Yeah, so it costs $45 million. Rand Paul mentioned that a little bit later. It's like, you know, while we're now going to add $2 trillion more to the deficit, he didn't mention why, tax cuts for the rich. But on top of that, we're going to add 45 million for the parade, totally unnecessary. So then I looked at, as we're covering it, who's sponsoring it, and it's 22. First of all, I didn't think that anybody was going to sponsor it. Turns out, no. The 45 million is we have to pay, but I don't know where the money from the sponsors goes. But there was 22 corporate sponsors, including from Coinbase, and their founder, of course, has legally bribed Trump several times. And so they're like, oh, the United States military brought to you by Coinbase. Just got $1 million check from them, Donald Trump. No, they didn't mention that part. And Lockheed Martin, there's normal companies, FedEx, Amazon, but of course, tons of defense contractors. And Jordan, we had a lot of guests on, really interesting. Richard Ojeda running for office in North Carolina, part of Rebellion PAC, OjedaForNC.com. And he's been in the military for 24 years. And Colonel Wilkerson, who was chief of staff to Colin Powell when we started the Iraq War, and he talked about how there's folks in the military and outside the military, very powerful people in America that are always trying to start wars. And so as you look at this, and then we had those conversations with those experts, including Colonel Wilkerson, there's also corporations we talked about that are constantly pushing for more war. So they want us to get used to the idea of militarization. Military is good, why? Because now, as one of our experts explained, almost everything is built by private contractors. In the old days, the government used to build things, tanks, planes, etc. Now private contractors do. So those private contractors, they make all the money from the military. So they want you to spend more and more on the military. They want you to glorify the military more. They want you to use the military more. Now, a lot of you will get killed when we do that, and we'll all lose tremendous amounts of money, as we did in the global war on terror, where we spent $8 trillion, twice as much as World War II in adjusted inflation adjusted numbers. So all that money is going to those exact sponsors. So that is another reason why you should not like military in the streets of America. They want you to get used to military, corporate military rule. Don't do it.
Yeah, I think it was unsettling. Now you can make the case, and I think it's a totally fair case to make. The 250th anniversary of the Army is worth celebrating. Okay, no objections. If that's what you want to do, go for it. I do not buy that the only way to do that is having a parade framed around Trump's birthday. I mean, he tried to claim, oh, we're just celebrating. No. This was about him. It was very clearly about him, and it's why his billionaire friends sponsored it. It's why all of his associates were there. It's why people close to him who are trying to get access and curry favor with him were there. That's why. It is a total waste of money. There were other things that you could have done. He's wanted this. He was told in the past it was too expensive. He found the way in through the 250th. Now, I would be surprised if it didn't happen again next year. And that goes to show it wasn't about the anniversary, it's just about his birthday.
Hey, thanks for watching that video. We really appreciate it, guys. And we appreciate it if you become members, because that allows us to be independent, honest, progressive, all the things that you don't get from corporate media. And all of that is because of you guys. Hit the join button below and become one of us, become a Young Turk.